Chapter 3. Ryan. Dad is the first face to peek into my bedroom. He is the first and last adult Aleem and I see every day. He deems it his fatherly duty and I love him for it. Over the last 19 years he could have simply left the task of getting us ready and putting us to bed to Nana, Pop, or any of our aunts, uncles, or cousins. "Bug, you up?" Dad whispers into my room. "I'm up, Daddy," I answer. "Happy birthday," he says. I can't help but smile. Dad shuts the door and I hear his soft steps sneak away, leaving me to get out of bed and get ready for my big day. Pop serves me a thick stack of pancakes with a single candle plugged in the center. Nana reaches out with a lit match and lights the candle. Dad sits in silent observation. I take a deep breath and blow out the candle. I wish for the same thing every year. I wish for my mom to come home. I never say it out loud, at least not to the adults in the family. Talking about mom is something I do with only Aleem. Talking about mom is something I haven't done in a year, not since Aleem left for his freshman year of college. "Happy birthday, Bug," Nana, Dad, and Pop say in unison. I hear the dining room door open and in walks a tall, slender blonde. It's my eldest cousin, Kara. She lives in Salt Lake City and comes home once a month. "Happy birthday, Rain," Kara shouts, juggling several paper totes as she squeezes into the dining room. She kneels down beside my chair and gives me a kiss on the cheek, handing over all the bags filled with goodies from the big city. I've always looked up to Kara. 28 years separate us. Kara is the eldest child of the eldest of 5 uncles while I am the youngest of the youngest Ryan boy. "I have another surprise for you," Kara murmurs. I stand and follow her out through the double French doors of the dining room out into the courtyard. Slinking through the set of wrought iron gates is a younger version of Dad. 6 feet 2, broad shoulders, slender waist, long legs, and angular as can be is Aleem. "You're home." I call to him as I run around the pool and throw an arm around his shoulders. "I flew into Salt Lake City yesterday," Aleem laughs. Nana, Pop, and Dad rush to embrace Aleem too. "They didn't bash you around too bad," Pop laughs, squeezing Aleem's shoulders as he holds him at a distance to look him over. "Did they feed my baby well?" Nana asks, looping her arm through his. Dad stands by, quiet but proud. Aleem, Kara, and I sit around the pool after breakfast, our feet submerged in the cool water. I'm sneaking glances at the sky while Kara peppers Aleem with questions about his first year at the Citadel, South Carolina, and life in general. He tells us about his studies, football, and the new friends he has made. I envy and admire Aleem. He's always known what he wanted to be. He's had his life mapped out by the time he was 4. He knew he wanted to be exactly like our dad. He would join the army, become a paratrooper, go to ranger school, serve in the infantry, go to special forces selection, then finish out his career as a Delta Force operator because that was the path our dad took. I've never known what I wanted to be. I feel as though I am wandering through life aimlessly. I often wonder, would I feel differently if my mom were here? Then I'm overwhelmed with, I can't even name the feeling, ungrateful mixed with guilt. My family has provided me a life that many would envy, and still I want more. I want a mother. I find myself retreating within a lot. I prefer to pick at my guitar, let my fingers dance across the ivory keys of the grand piano in the living room, or just humming in the privacy of my own room. My love of music, the family says, I inherited from Dad. I'm heading off to Northwest University in Seattle, Washington in the fall. I still haven't decided my major. I don't even know why I'm going. I just know that it is what is expected of me.
Chapter 4. Hugh Brookings. The raindrops sizzle as they hammer the asphalt road in front of my house. The house groans as the roof cools. I open the front door and step outside to meet my mailwoman at the gate. She has a box under her right arm and a handful of mail in her left. Her blue poncho is doing nothing against the fat stinging droplets falling from the dark sky. She hands me my box and my mail, and I make a mad dash back toward my house. I wasn't expecting a box, but my partner is out of town, and it might be souvenirs. Somehow, I've managed to carve out a life for myself in this old painted lady in the years after Rosie disappeared. I met someone, settled down, and still get up every weekday to continue my work as a therapist. Part of me feels guilty for continuing on. Another part of me wants to pick up and sell this place, move back to the Appalachian Mountain and leave all the memories behind, but what stops me is Rosie. The return address catches my eye, Bitter Creek, Utah. Then the name and the handwriting make my head spin and my vital organs stop all operation for a split second. J. Tucker Ryan, a name I'd only thought of twice since Rosie disappeared. The first time I thought of him was after I'd run myself ragged filing reports and begging for help to find Rosie. I wondered why, in the year that we'd been friends, had I not gotten a phone number or even an email address for Tuck Ryan. I wished then that I could tell him of Rosie's disappearance before he heard it somewhere else. The second time I thought of him was on the first anniversary of her disappearance. I wondered if he'd heard the news and what he thought. After all, he had been head over heels for her, or at least that was the impression I got and what he told me. I gingerly lift one flap and then the other. Inside the box were a few spiral-bound notebooks with "For Hugh" written on the covers in Rosie's big, structured handwriting. Had Rosie's dissenters been right? Had she simply abandoned her life and started fresh elsewhere? June 13, 2017. Dear Hugh. There were so many things I didn't tell you. I am so sorry for the mess you'll have to clean up. I can't imagine what an idiot you must think I am. I practically dug my own grave and I deserve whatever happens next. I love you and thank you for taking a chance on me. You are the best friend I've ever had and the brother I've always dreamt of having. Love always. Rosie. June 14, 2017. Dear Hugh. I've been gone more than 48 hours now. I suppose the search for me has been called off days ago. I'll never be found, and I have to accept that fact. I've got nothing but time and I owe you an explanation, so here goes. Do you remember the first day Tuck Ryan came up to us and introduced himself while we were eating lunch outside your clinic last June? Well, the truth is, I did find him very attractive and enjoyed the attention. The truth is also, that I never thought I'd be his type. I am no beauty queen. I have nothing to recommend me. I thought he was handsome and that was it. I thought nothing more. Much to my surprise, he kept joining us for lunch. He even asked me out, which was an even bigger surprise. Initially, I thought he was just humoring me. Then I thought he was just after another notch in his belt. When he kept asking and I kept saying no, I was completely puzzled. Why would anyone, least of all, someone who looked like Tuck Ryan, want to date me? I suppose the answer is simple: I am easy prey. I am the most pathetic human being on earth, Hugh. I was so desperate for love that I would risk it all. I agreed to one date with Tuck 2 weeks ago, Hugh. I wanted a child for all the wrong and selfish reasons in the world. I figured he would be gone in 2 weeks with another notch in his belt and I would have what I wanted, a child. Only, I miscalculated, Hugh. I fucked up big time. I shake my head at Rosie's words. No, Rosie, I want to scold her, you are not pathetic. I don't remember you in that way at all. If Rosie could have seen herself through everyone else's eyes, she would have seen how magnetic she was. I remember the first time we met. I had just been hired as a federal employee and was attending my first day of orientation. I was nervous and a bit overwhelmed as I entered the auditorium for my welcome brief. I sat as far back as I could. "Is this seat available?" a small friendly voice asked. I looked up and there stood a beautiful pixie-like creature. Rosie wore a neat dark tailored double-breasted dress and matching high heels. Her hair was long and hung around her face and shoulders in flattering deep dark waves. She had a small heart-shaped face, a proud Greek nose, and dusty mauve lips crowned with a cupid's bow. "No," I answered, moving my canvas messenger bag out of the way. "Have a seat." She set her own canvas messenger bag next to mine at our feet as she settled in beside me. "My name is Rosie, and you are?" "Hugh." She smiled broadly, a pearly broad rectangular smile. "I love your bag. They don't make canvas bags like these anymore, do they?" She tittered. "Where did you find your bag?" "My grandmother was a very fashionable lady. After she died, I found it among her things. I believe she bought it in New York City at the first Coach flagship store way back when." "Fancy," Rosie teased. "Mine is just fossil. I found it on clearance somewhere, can you believe it? People don't appreciate the simple and durability of canvas anymore, do they?" "No, they don't. I'm a project manager for the installation." "What do you do?" "I'm a therapist. I'll be working at the base's hospital." "Nice. You must be smart then." "Very smart," I joked. Rosie let out a heartfelt laugh. "Hugh, you and I are going to be the best of friends," Rosie declared. Rosie was one of those people who didn't have a full grasp of how the world saw her. Rosie's public persona was that of a carefree prankster, but in private she was nothing like that at all. The first time Rosie ever met Tuck Ryan was not the day he joined us for lunch in early summer. The first time Tuck Ryan ever set eyes on Rosie was in early May of 2016, a year after we'd met. I stood in the entrance of my clinic, a glass-enclosed atrium that gave patients a clear view of the clear blue sky. Rosie was outside in a sea of men in khakis, gesturing to the building discussing her vision for the remodel of the clinic in which I worked. From the packed parking lot emerged a tall handsome figure in coyote brown uniform donning a forest green beret that matched his eyes. He was beautiful and he knew it. He walked with an easy swagger, his perfect straight nose high in the air, but even the perfect Tuck Ryan was not immune to Rosie. Tuck Ryan was scheduled to meet with me to discuss the future of one of his soldiers. As he approached the clinic, Rosie caught his eye. For the briefest of second, he hitched in his steps as his eyes settled on Rosie. He raised a hand in greeting to her and she reflexively waved back. The sliding doors opened for Tuck Ryan, and even with 2 panes of tempered glass between him and Rosie, his eyes never left her. That was their first meeting. I also remember that first time Tuck joined us for lunch. Rosie and I were sitting on the curb behind my clinic sharing a carton of fries. Tuck arrived early for his meeting with me and saw us through the employee entrance. He stepped outside and strolled over to us. "Hey Doc," he greeted. "Hello Mr. Ryan," I replied. "Let me wash my hands and we'll get started with our meeting." "No rush Doc. I'm early, I know. I just wanted to have a chat outside of work. I saw you both out here," and he didn't complete the thought as his eyes fell to Rosie's profile. "Rosie," I called to her. "This is my friend, First Sergeant Ryan. Just call me Tuck, please, everyone does," he said. She looked up and gave a strained smile. "Tuck, this is my friend, Rosie." "Hello Miss Rosie," Tuck greeted. I knew in that moment that we had not seen the last of Tuck Ryan. He couldn't take his eyes off her. Rosie seemed so clueless I had no idea she was even aware he was there.